Okay, today's the 6th of June, so we have 6/6, 6th of June, and it's 2008. And we're at the bike trail in Boston. We just came off the bridge, the Boston Bridge, and the last few feet were under construction and took close to an hour just to cross the bridge. And you could see right through the trees, right in this area right here, the construction trucks from PennDOT. And here's the Boston Bridge we just came across. Here's my coaster bike. No gears. Brakes are on the pedals. And here she is at Pride of Baldwin in her hand cycle, ready to hit the trail. And it's about, what, 90 degrees out now?
Yeah, at least.
And it's June the 6th. What time is it about?
4:15.
4:15. And here's the SST behind you. And the SST means sweet smelling toilet. And it is wheelchair accessible. As they say in the UK, there's the loo. Okay, and we're heading for the water fountain.
Took us an hour and 15 minutes to get here because the bridge was one lane.
Yes, just maybe 20 feet, 30 feet were messed up, and that was it. And here's our water fountain here at the trail. Just filled the water bottles up. Some nice cold water. On a hot day, here's my water bottle. And also here's my little bag that I keep on the bike. When I find aluminum cans, I clean up the trail. And here's a sign for the Boston Trail. See if I could zoom in a little bit. Boston Trail access. Okay, we're on the trail, we're moving on. And we're doing 8.5 miles an hour. And Carolyn has the point. And we were just cruising along the bike trail. And this bike trail just goes and goes. And it goes from here in Boston, suburban McKeesport, all the way to Washington, D.C., which is over 300 miles away. We'll only do maybe 6 or 7 miles in one direction. And come back and back in a car and back home again. And sometimes on the trail, you'll see some live game. Little things like rabbit, chipmunks, squirrels, raccoons, sometimes a deer. Baby deer, big deer, full-grown deer. And that's about it. And some stray cats too. But this used to be train tracks at one time. And the train's out of business and now it's a bike trail. And right now we're pedaling along. I don't know if you could see it or not, but it's like 8.5 miles an hour, 7.5 miles an hour. The trail's about 6 feet wide, and it's a crushed limestone surface. And to my left, that you can't see, through all the foliage, that way, is the York River. And there's actually homes to the right, and here's the back end of the homes. And these homes have great access to the trail. And the trail is pretty level. This is our first trail ride in 2008. And the first time to use this camera on the trail. So I'm driving the bike with one hand on the handlebar and one hand holding the camera. And trying to hold it as steady as I can, which is difficult to do. And on this bike trail, it's for non-motorized vehicles. So wheelchairs, bicycles, hand cycles, walking, no motorbikes, no motorcycles, no motor scooters, nothing with a motor. And some of the places on the trail are to my right, where all this grass is, you can ride your horse. And sometimes the trail is wide open with sunlight, and other times we're in a nice shady area. And they put these poles up on the trail to keep people with their cars off the trail. But there's still room to get through, because there's room to get through for emergency vehicles. And the trail's free to ride. but we're members of the trail, so we pay some money and get to ride the trail. But if you don't be a member, you can still ride the trail. So right now we're cruising along at 8 miles an hour. We've gone, try to get this in sight, we've gone a little over 1.5 miles so far. Since we got the trailhead. I stopped the bike. This house was for sale, and it was sold, and there's not much to it. It's right on the trail, and 2 stories, and it comes across the backyard here onto the trail. And there's more parts of the house here, little evergreen tree, and some parcels of land and some buildings back here. But this house was on the market last year, and it did sell, and it was selling for $159,000. Well, I'm catching up with Spike. Now I'm going 10.5 miles an hour. Got breezy out, going a little faster. It's hard to pedal with one hand, or pedal with one hand on the handlebars. Spike's way up in front. This place on my left, you could ride a bike. Go ride the trail. Carolyn spotted a can before I did, so now I'll smash the can. Here's one smashed can for Uncle Nick. I clean out the trail. Got a piece of equipment here in the trail. Something. Spike's way out in front. Hardly see her. It's too hard to work the zoom lens with one hand holding the camera and one hand on the handlebar. There it is, one hand on the handlebar. Here's the odometer. Doing 10 miles an hour. And a famous water bottle. And here's some more people on the trail. A little bit of mud up here. This is just a crushed limestone base. You get muddy at times. We'll watch these little kids on the trail, because they aren't watching us. Okay, 2 hands on the wheel. It's a little muddy coming up. This part of the trail is really shady. The trees just overlap the trail, and then the sunshine can come in and dry up the mud when it rains. And that one aluminum can's making a lot of noise down here. It's nice and cool here. A little bit later, you'll be able to see the York River. A couple clearings. The trail gets a little higher. Here comes a mile marker. Every mile, there's a mile marker. So here comes mile marker 22. Okay, we're taking a break for a few seconds at mileage marker 23.
I'm ready for Tic Tac.
Oh, she wants a Tic Tac. Gotta give my partner here a Tic Tac. Okay, here we go. I have a Tic Tac. Okay, ready to move out. Brakes over. Well, nice and shady. We're cruising along here. A little bit of sunlight coming through. All right, I'm gonna go on the port side and photograph side by side. Okay, here we go. As we're side by side on the York Trail. Anything you want to say?
Glad to be back on the trail.
I bet you are. And this is the 8th year for your hand cycle, right? Because you got it in September, Labor Day weekend.
It'll be 8th September.
Yeah, of 00. Yep, Labor Day weekend of 2000. And you got a 3-speed stick, but you usually mostly use 1 gear all the time. What, 2nd gear, right?
3rd.
3rd gear, okay. And you got 1 wheel in the front and 2 wheels in the back. And to stop the hand cycle, what do you do?
Stop.
Just pedal backwards.
And stop.
That's true. Stop pedaling, that'll do it too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Just coast. Yep. Sure, it's dark in here with the trees overlapping the trail. And the can for Uncle Nick is making a lot of noise. So we're going to ride an hour in one direction and turn around and back to the car. And hopefully the bridge will be okay getting back over. That was a major delay getting to the trail. This trail is 2 lanes, you know.
Oh, worm.
Yeah.
You got worm?
No, I missed the worm. Missed it.
It's fat as a pig.
Okay, on the left is the Yock River. You can finally get a little view of it. Up ahead there's a nicer clearing. You can see the Yock River. It's not very deep. Here's a nice clearing. You can see the Yock River. And if you go to the right, where I'm facing now, take you all the way to Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania, where Frank Lloyd Wright has his famous house he built for the Kaufman family called Falling Water. Well, there's Spike way up ahead. We got to put 2 hands on handlebars and catch up with her. So here we go. Because right now I'm doing 10.5 miles an hour. And she's doing about 8 miles an hour. I know, I want you to get in front of me.
Why are you going in front of me then?
Well, the bike wasn't there before. Here's a mile marker coming up. It's on the left side. And it's 2:24. And up at 26 is the Draveau. 25, I'm sorry. 25 is Draveau. And they got a SST there and a hand pump for water. And next to Draveau is an old cemetery dating back into the 1800s or even older. Well, we're getting close to Draveau, where the water fountain is and the bathroom. You don't need it though, but it's there if you need it. And if you stay on this trail long enough, you'll be up in Sutersville. And they have a ice cream store at Sutersville. But we're not going to stop for ice cream today. And the ice cream store is maybe 1/10 of a mile from the trail. You can see the ice cream store as you cross the main road in Sutersville. Here's that old cemetery. It's old. Old Draveau. Methodist Church Cemetery. Established 1824. And here's the water fountain, water pump, this green structure. And there's the SST, which is wheelchair accessible too. And here comes mileage marker 25. And I'll zoom in. I'm off the bike now. I'm going to zoom in on the mileage marker. Here it is, 25. Oh, she's taking off. There she goes. She's at it again. She's moving out. She's moving in. And there's the SST. Sweet smelling toilet. Very accessible. Well, so far we've ridden 6.06 miles. I'm cruising along at 11 miles an hour now. Gotta catch up here. It's way out in front of me. A little breezy out too when you start making some movements. Check out the back wheels on the handcycle. Notice how they're inward. Better stability on turns and less chance of tipping over. Just like the old Volkswagen Bug. The back wheels are the same way. It's been a long time, hasn't it? When was our last trail ride? Last September, October?
Probably.
Yeah.
October, November.
Yeah. I have to look in the book to find out. Look in the log. You make it look so easy to ride the hand cycle. You do. Oh, that wasn't good. Okay. Have to call him tonight. Yeah. Here comes the waterfall. Amazing how all the bricks turn white. Here's a sign about the trail.